Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of What If Naruto was Trigon and the Grand Priest reincarnation. He's also neglected. So where we left off is when Naruto just finished whooping Minma and Mito. Then we go over to I'm just trying to get straight into it. We go over to Naruto about to walk away, but that's when Minato and Kushina comes down and says, what are you doing? Why would you do that to them? And blah 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 and all of that. So yeah guys, there's something else I wanna do. The third Hokage is not dead. Yeah, he's not gonna be dead. I'm gonna say that he lived. Minato and him managed to split the Nine Tails in half together some type of way. So yeah. And he says, "How dare you?" And him and Kushina comes down, and the third Hokage comes down with him, saying, "Calm down. He won fair and square." Kushina says he cheated some type of way, but there's no way he stopped. So the Two Tails cloak. I overestimated their abilities. So I'm gonna say high tuning, low jonin, high jonin, Hokage level could beat them easily, fairly easily. But if you're like low tuning or genin, you would stand no chance against them. So he's trying to scold Naruto, and Naruto turned around with his eyes glowing red, saying, "How dare you put your filthy hands on me?" And he clocks Minato in the jaw, sending him back. Wait, guys, hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry. I'm back. Probably was like a minute or two for you guys, but that was fairly about 5 minutes or so. Lord. And so he. What part did I leave off on? Okay, so he turns back, looking back at them with his red eyes glowing, saying, "How dare you put your hands on me?" Looking at Minato with his eyes glowing red, and Trigon and the Grand Priest says, telling him on the side of him, calm his anger. Don't do it. And so Naruto teleports off, and he says, before he leaves inside a red and black flash, he tells Minato the next time he put his hands on him, they'll have a problem. And so Naruto, he teleports away in a red and black flash, and he arrives at his house, which is the old Grand Zeno's palace inside of his apartment. He just warped reality basically. And so Naruto is sitting there sipping tea. Oh, and he can create life. Yeah. It's like, yeah. And he's sitting there and he's thinking, what should he do since he's already beginning? And he hears a knock at his door. And he steps out. And he looks around to see who it is. And it is a red-haired girl. This is the red-haired girl. She's new to the village. They found out she's a Jinchuriki. She's actually gonna make her strong. She's actually the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. Now, she's from a village called the Sunshine Village. It's not a big village, but they did a ritual where they was able to get the Ten-Tails, or sip away the Ten-Tails away from the Sage of Six Paths. And so they sealed it into her mother, and then when her mother had her, the full Ten-Tails went over to her. But they don't know which Biju she has, so they're thinking like she's the Three Tails Jinchuriki, or whatever. But Naruto can sense it, see massive strength, and it's obviously coming from the Ten Tails because he knows the power of the Ten Tails. And so he says, "Come in," and when she steps in, she just sees this giant palace, and she's like, "This is cool." She's all beaten and bruised and everything. Naruto takes her inside, and he cleans her up, and he's wiping her face, and it takes a bath. He gets her some new clothes, which are the clothes she has on now. And she looks back, and she says, "Thank you," with like this type of blank expression on her face. But she's a pretty calm person. Naruto asks her why do they hate her, and she says that she's the Ten Tails holder, but they think she's holding the Three Tails. She's never told anyone but Naruto. And Naruto, oh sorry guys, but Naruto smiles and says, "That's cool. You have the most powerful Biju besides the Nine Tail." And she says, "Yeah." And a lot of people want to take it away from me. Now, guys, I know I said they snatched it away from the Sage Six Paths, but I think that's pretty impossible. So, from what we've seen in Boruto, there are multiple Ten Tails. There's not just one Ten Tail like there are just one Nine Tails or one Tails. There are multiple Ten Tails. So I'm gonna say they grown their own Ten Tails. They found the method to doing it, and now they have their own Ten Tails. They grown their own Ten Tails and everything. Hold on guys, I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. And they have sorry, I'm back. And they have grown their own Ten Tails. So she's telling him the story, and that's when Naruto smiles and he says, "How about this? I will train you." And she looks and she's like, "Really?" He was like, "Yes." And he says he'll start their training tomorrow. He's put her in a separate room, and he went to his master bedroom, which was large. One inside his master bedroom is the size of two of the biggest mansions in modern times right now. Her room is the size of no, his room is the size of four of them. Hers is the size of like two of them. That's how large they are. And he says, and she's like, "Oh, these rooms are large." And he says, "Yes. Not like again, I said Naruto can create life. He's made maids and butlers, and they're going around cleaning up stuff for him." And he says one of the maids will show you around and set you up in your room. And she says, "Okay." So the next day they wake up. Naruto tells her to get up. She gets up, brush her teeth, eats, and everything. So they go out. No, they go inside the training room that he has in his house, because they said there's gonna be like a little 4-week hold on the 10th assignment because Minra and Mito are hurt. Blah blah blah. And so they are inside of his house, inside of the training room that's built in. And he says, "Well, we'll get started with your training on your Biju." And she was like, "Well, I can't control my chakra because it's more stronger than me." And he says, "Huh, I have an idea." And she asks, "What is it?" And he says, "Come here." And she comes and he hits her stomach, which, well, not hard, but like he hits her stomach with like these glowing red and black things on his fingers, like the 5 steel prongs or whatever. I forgot the name of it. But he's using his hands, but it's different. It's red and black flames, and he hits her stomach. She says, "Ouch, what was that for? Are you trying to beat me like the others?" He says, "No." And he says, "Try to use chakra." And she tries. She says, "I don't have chakra anymore." He was like, "Yes." And then he says, "Come back." And she comes back, and he makes it to where she has ki now. Now, then once that ki comes in, the Ten Tails chakra starts to flow through her and everything. Naruto has broken the seal. Now the Ten Tails is loose, running rampant, and it's hurting her. And Naruto says, "Sit still," and she sits down. She has the integrity to sit there. She's also an Uzumaki. She's half Uzumaki, but she's from one of the royal families of the Uzumaki. So she's the Uzumaki clan head's um grand great great grandchild. And but she's not related to Kushina or any of them. There are two royal families, like the first royal family and the second royal family. She's from the second royal family, so she's like not related to the first royal family. It's different. It's a whole thing that I made. So I'm sorry about the dogs barking in the back, guys. So that's when Naruto is teaching her and everything, and he goes in and he's looking around. He sees the Ten Tails, and Ten Tails look down at him and asks who are you? Naruto floats up with his hands behind his back because he always has his hands behind his back, looking down at the Ten Tails, and he says, "I hate when others look down on me. It's not fitting for a ruler or a conqueror, basically." He has that type of integrity. And he says, "You will obey this girl at any means necessary." And he says, "Why should I?" And Naruto opens a portal. This is the portal to the demon world or Trigon's world. And this giant, when I say giant, this giant dragon comes out. It's all black. And it sprouts its wings and it stands 145 feet tall. And that's not its only size. Well, it's not its original size. It just had to do that to come through. Its original size is about 700 feet tall. That means it towers over Godzilla at that point. Well, I'm gonna say Godzilla is taller. I think he's like, I don't know, Godzilla. He's like 400 and something. I'm gonna say he's probably the same size as Godzilla. Yeah. I'm gonna make him 700 and some feet tall. He's the same size as Godzilla. And he comes out, and this is not Godzilla. He comes out and he says, "I might help you, my lord." And he bows and he says, "Get this thing in check." And the dragon smiles, and its red eyes glow, and you can just see these red eyes glowing in this pitch blackness because the dragon is jet black, literally. And he bites the Ten Tails on the neck, and he just starts dogging the Ten Tails out. The Ten Tails can't even defend itself. It's being treated like a little puppy, versus a giant dog like a canine or something. And he whips it into shape, and he says, "You will follow this girl's orders, and also my master's orders." The Ten Tails agrees, and he says, "Now you will be lending her your chakra." And he says, "But she doesn't have chakra for mine to combine with." Naruto says, "Right, and chakra is weak anyway," so he does the same thing he did to her. He expels all of its chakra. Now he just influenced it with so much magic and ki that is just blasting. He is now stronger than Zamasu, fused Zamasu at that. That's how powerful he is. He's on his level or even higher. And since Naruto's power is unlimited, he's not going to reach his power ever. And he says, "I can finally take over this little brat." And he smiles and tries to fight Naruto and the dragon at the same time. Still gets whooped. Naruto says, "You don't seem to..." Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to go get some chips. And then Naruto says, "You don't seem to understand. I gave you this power. If I give you power like this, that means I surpass it. Your universe level, I'm beyond even multiversal level. You can't harm me." And he gives this evil grin on his face, and his eyes start to turn red with his black hair, which is so menacing. Like, Not those evil smiles that they have in anime where their eyes just turn into giant black circles, and then they just have these giant smiles with red inside of them, something like that. Like Demon King working as a part timer, or the Devil working as a part timer. If you've watched that, when he was going against Lucifer, and you just saw that smile on his face, that's the type of smile Naruto has. And he's smiling down on it, and it just influenced so much fear into the Ten Tails that it whipped itself into shape and says, "Yes, my lord." And he said, "You will follow this girl's instructions, and I won't say it again." And he said, "Yes, my lord." And Naruto wakes back up, and she can feel that she can control it, but there's no chakra in her body. And she's asking, like, what happened? And Naruto says, "Don't worry." And then he checks her bloodline, and he knows she's from the Sunshine Clan, which is an old clan that was just like a level below the Otsutsuki. They were supposed to be a ripoff of the Otsutsuki. They were supposed to go against the Otsutsuki if they ever betrayed mankind or anything like they have done, but the Otsutsuki king found out about this and wiped them all out. And she's thinking, and he's thinking, I know so much about them since I'm basically omnipotent. And he taps her forehead, and her eyes glow golden with these type of circles in it. And he says, knew it. And then he finds out she's part Uzumaki, but from the second Uzumaki royal bloodline. He says, that's pretty cool. And then he unlocks her chakra chains for her. But they're not chakra chains anymore. They're key chains and magic chains. Because she has key and magic mixed together, which makes her attacks more powerful and do everything. And then he teaches her how to control her power and balance it out like yin and yang. And that's basically what they do for that whole day. The second day, he teaches her taijutsu, and she's becoming an expert, not on his level, but she's like high jonin, or she's Hokage level at that. And then she teaches he teaches them, her, to interact with the Ten Tails. He's her sensor. Like the Spidey sense, that's basically what she is for him. She's his Spidey sense. And they have to work together. Her and the Ten Tails became a perfect team, They know how to share power. He can sense every emotion, everything around her. So even if someone had killing intent, he can sense it if they walk. And he enhanced her sensory abilities, and he boosting her with his power. And they're just like a team. And then she doesn't use a sword. She used like these small knives, like these small throwing knives that she infused with her ki and magic, and they pierce through anything. And then she can control all the elements, but her flames are they're red, and her lightning is also red. Her water and earth style are the same as any water and earth style, but they're not based on chakra, they're based on magic, which makes them stronger. And then she has full mastery over them. She has pyrokinesis control. And then she has the crown of hell, the Empress crown of hell, which just boosted her power more. Now her eyes, let's get to their abilities. So basically, if you have one circle in them, you could see everything around you, like the Byakugan. You can see further, and you can see people's chakra network or any type of life energy. You can sense it as well. The second one enhances everything about you. So anything enhances chakra, speed, stamina, durability, strength, and all of that. Then the last one, it boosts your offensive abilities and your defensive abilities. And then it also allows her to change places with anything. She can distort space and time. She can freeze time. She can fast forward it. She can rewind it. She can bring back the dead. She could pull chakra out of people's body or any life energy. She can feed off another person's life energy to heal herself. She can instantly regenerate any limb or body part. She is basically immortal at that part because every time she dies, time just rewinds on her body and she comes back to life. So if she age and dies, she's going to rewind to her prime so she wouldn't die, since Naruto's kind of like that. When he reaches his 20s, that's where he's going to stop. She reaches her 20s, that's basically where her aging stops at that point. Or I'm going to say 21. Yeah, that's when their aging stops. She could rip the souls out of people. She can take their souls out because she's also the Empress of Hell or the Queen of Hell. So yeah, she just balance out the flow of the dead. And she has Cerberus as her guard dog or her pet because she really loves dogs. That's her guard dog. Literally, it's Cerberus, and Naruto boosted Cerberus magic and gave Cerberus ki, which is already bad enough because Cerberus was powerful. And this is not any Cerberus. This is a vicious Cerberus. If you come close to her, try to attack her, anything, nothing, no binding the seals or no binding spells, none of that is holding him back from ripping you apart. The only one that can really stop him is her and Naruto at that point. He is Omega level type stuff. He's dark side level. We all know how powerful dark side is, and that's her pet. He's weaker than her. So yeah, she's there inside, and Cerberus is running around playing with his giant bone of a giant snake, the spine of that snake he hunted. Yeah. And he tells her that they have to go to the Hokage's office to register as guineas. So they go there and he tells her blah blah blah, and Minato says, "You hang around with this other demon and come home so we can be a real family." And Naruto says, "Lord Hokage, you have no right to refuse anyone wanting to take the Genin test, the late Genin test." He says, "Fine," and she takes it and she passed. She's a Genin. And Naruto says, "Also, we want to join Lord Dunzo's Umbu." And Dunzo was there, and he says, I'll allow it." And Minato says, "I will not." And Dunzo says, "You have no choice in the matter. If they agree, you have no say so." And Hiruzen says, "Naruto, is this really what you want to do?" He says, "Yeah, old man, I know what I'm doing." And he says, "Okay, Naruto, I trust you." And so Naruto is Naruto and what was her? Let me see. Let me give her a name. Shigeki? No, Asuna. Yeah, we're just gonna say Asuna. Naruto and Asuna are walking around. It's already been a 1 week, and well, it's already been 2 weeks, and they are dating. Let's do a flashback. When Naruto was training her, she asked him out. Naruto thought about it, and since he's already the Empress of Hell, they're basically like husband and wife now. So he agrees and everything. So yeah, and Naruto walks out of the Umbu, and he says, "What's up?" And it's so dark. Asuna's looking around, and she says, "Naruto, let's see." She gave the Ten Tails a name. The Ten Tails is actually a girl. This Ten Tails is a girl, and she named it Bella. She says Bella has a bad feeling. She says there's at least 20 to 30 people in this room, and they all have killing intent. And there's one with a strong chakra, but they're nowhere near our level. And he smiles and he says, He says, "I guess this is some type of test." Now, Naruto is not gonna have the usual Ambu outfit. He's gonna wear this just with a black shirt over it and the Ambu mask. Yeah, cause he can do whatever he wants. Naruto says, so there's no, let's say there's 40 of them to test their ability. There's 40 Anbu. He says, you take 20, I take 20, and leave whoever the big guy is to me. And she says, no, but I want to do it. And then they do paper, rock, scissors, and she wins. And Naruto says, fine. And so they both disappear. She's just taking off the heads of those 20 Anbu. And so does Naruto, but he's not using any abilities, just physical strength. That's what Trigon told him for his training is physical strength. And he's beating and beating and beating them down with his pure hands. He's like Omni-Man type, ripping their heads off, ripping them in half, and all of that. And no blades are getting through his skin, nothing like that. And he headbutts one of them, which blows their head literally away. And then him and her makes it back to the middle of the room, and the lights turn back on. And Danzo is clapping, saying, "Great job! You two are allowed to be in the Ambu." That's a great performance, and he tells the other Ambu to clean up all these dead bodies. Naruto's like, "So this was a test, huh?" And he was like, yes, but I'm sure you already know that. And Naruto's like, yeah, I did. And Danzo says, here's your Ambu outfits. And they were like, no thanks, we'll wear this. We'll wear our regular clothes. Danzo like, you can't. He was like, and why not? And they're like, it can give out your identities. And they says, no problem. And Naruto has he has a Grim Reaper's mask. And say, I don't know how to explain it. It's like black with these red lines in them. And she has like this reddish fox mask basically. Yeah. Or wolf mask. She has a wolf mask, but it like reddish type fur and like black surroundings thing, yeah, whatever. And Danzo says, I'll give you your first mission. It's an assassination mission. You have to infiltrate the base and assassinate the target. And they look and they see it's a wealthy target and whatever. And they say it's fine. And he sends an Umbu to trail them to see how good they do. Or matter of fact, him and the Umbu trails them themselves. So Naruto and them get there, and she opens a gate behind her, and it's Cerberus. He comes out, and Cerberus has a shapeshifting ability. Actually, he gained it from the magic, whatever. He shapeshifts into an eagle, and he flies up, and he's looking down, and she can see through his eyes, and she counts about 60 on the outside, and there's probably 40 on the inside. And Naruto says, fine, where's the target? And he says he's in a very secure room with most of those 20 guards watching the room he's in. And then he says, okay, we'll wait until night. And then they do, and when it hits nighttime, you just see this red and black flash and this just light red flash. And then they appear in the room. Oh, and Naruto's mask has horns on it. So yeah, cause And he appears in the room, and Naruto's sitting on the desk where the target is, and he says, nice to meet you. Let's say his name is Tomura. He says, nice to meet you, Tomura. And Tomura says, who are you? He was like, I'm the person that is sent to kill you. He was like, whatever they're paying you, I can double it, triple it. Excuse me, guys. I can double it, triple it. I can even quadruple it. And Naruto says, no thanks. And he just slices his head off. And he walks out with his head in front of all the guards. Sorry guys, my allergies are acting up. She walks out with the head in front of the guards and says, do you want it? And then Naruto takes, he opens a little rift and puts the head in there. And he smiles under his mask. And his eyes glow red and they can all see it. And he just starts to kill them all off, one by one, with his bare hands. Since he doesn't use any weapons. Hold on, guys. And he starts to kill them off one by one. He doesn't really use any weapons. Naruto is mostly the hand fighter, and he's just ripping them to shreds. And he does Omni-Man, flies into the air, and he tells Asuna to come to him. And Cerberus is just ripping people alive and eating them, and he tells Cerberus to return too. And then Cerberus jumps in the air, which he's standing on the air. He has that ability. And Asuna, they're just looking down. And Naruto points his finger in there, and this key and magic ball just appears in his giant red and black. It's like the sun, basically, just red and black. And he sends his hand down. And Naruto and Asuna are just watching. Naruto got his hands behind his back looking down, while Cerberus is standing behind them. And it blasts that little hideout, which was the size of a village. And he wipes all life there out in 100 acres of forest. Only way the Ambu and Danzo were able to get away because Naruto sensed them and teleported them away. And then Naruto and Asuna teleports to where Danzo them are, and he pulls out the head and says, "We're finished." For those next weeks, Naruto and Asuna were going on missions. Mission after mission after mission. These were all S-rank missions. They've never done anything below an S-rank mission because Danzo know they can handle it. After mission after mission, they've completed 170 S-rank missions in only under 2 weeks. So they only have 1 week left, and they decide to take a break. So they go on a date and eating and whatever. And then that was their last day. So they had to go to the academy the next day. Asuna walks in, all the boys are drooling. And then Naruto walks in, and everyone sees him. And they start to grit their teeth, asking what's he doing. Naruto and Asuna are walking together. And they go sit down in the back. And they start talking. And then Sasuke gets up and says, "What are you doing with her, you dope? She belongs to me." And he tries to grab Asuna's hand. And inside of her, the Ten Tails are getting angry and letting out bloodlust. But Asuna tells her to stop. And so she puts her hands on Sasuke's stomach and pushes back, which sends him straight through the wall. And she gets up and she's walking out of the wall saying, "How dare you lay your hands on me in front of my boyfriend?" And she says, "Don't you touch me again." And Sasuke gets angry and says, "Fine." And Minma and Mito are watching this and they get upset, but Minma likes her. So Naruto's sitting there smiling. And Iruka walks in and he says, "Okay, now, everyone settle down." And he says what happened to the wall. Sasuke walking back in, saying nothing, badly injured. And Iruka heals him up, and he's finally back to full capacity. And Iruka says, "Alright, let's get started." He says the teams will be Sasuke. He just got straight into it. He told them how proud he was and everything, blah, blah, blah. Every other team on original except for Team 7, it was Sakura, Sasuke, Menma, and Mito. And they were like, yay. And then everyone asks, like, what about Naruto and Asuna? And Iruka says, well, they're a special case since they are in the Ambu. Everyone looks back and they're like, they're in Lord Donzo's Umbu, so they're basically an assassination team. They they don't they're not pitched in with the rest of you. And they ask, what do you mean? Like, since they're an Umbu team and basically an assassination team, they fall under an Umbu leader. And one walks in, and this is Itachi. And Itachi says, what's up? And Sasuke gets angry, saying he wanted his brother, and then he tells them all they're joining senseis. He tells Team 7 that their joining senseis would be Kushina and Kakashi. And he was like, huh, okay. And then they got happy because they have the Hokage's wife, which is basically Hokage level. And they got Kakashi. Everyone knows Kakashi. He's very powerful. Ninja. Well, Menman Mito know Kakashi. And so that's when um that's when all of the teams leaving. Itachi is still sitting there with his team because they were missing one. They were wondering why it was just two of them. And then he remembered they are team Kakashi. I mean, Itachi was not thinking. He was like, oh, well, I guess there's going to be three of us. And then they all just body flickered away. Well, Naruto teleported. So did Asuna. I don't know how. Well, Itachi just body flickered with ravens or crows flying away. So yeah, and they report to training ground. He says, well, we're not like the rest of them. We don't need to talk about your feelings and ambitions or whatever. He says, I really don't care. We are an elite Umbu team. We are based on assassinations, and that's what we're going to be doing. And he pulls out some. He says, Lord Dunzo has specifically assigned these to us, but this is not assassination. This is intel gathering on the hidden rain village. I mean, not the rain village. On the hidden cloud. And Naruto says, when do we start? He says, tomorrow. So the next day, they wake up, and all the other training things went the same. But let's just skip over to Minmin Mito's then. So, Kakashi and Kushina arrived after Naruto and them just left. They pick up their teams, and Minmin Mito run up to their mother and saying hi, and so excited. And Sasuke is just staring at Kakashi, or whatever. I'm saying this one, Kakashi is a mix between Uchiha and Hatake. Yeah, and Hatake. But his genes were mixed that he had to literally replace his eyes, one of his eyes, with another Sharingan user just for them to unlock. He was just, his skills were just so now he has full Sharingan in both eyes, just not activated. And with his other eye, still the Sharingan just flashes in and out, so that's why he has it covered, because it's not stable. And so they go to Training Ground 7, and they sit there and they talk about their goals and ambition. Menma wants to be Hokage, and he likes his mother training his father. Mito, she wants to be also Hokage and training. She likes training with her mother and father. And then Sasuke wants to be better than his older brother, Tachi, and wants to join the Ambu. Now, that's when Sakura says she likes Sasuke, blah blah blah, da 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 da, all of that. So yeah, and then they do the Bell test. They manage to pass because they use teamwork and whatever. Now, skip to the next day for Naruto and them. Naruto and Asuna, they wake up, brush their teeth and whatever. She feeds Cerberus and and everything, and they walk out. Cerberus goes into his storage space where he has everything, chew toys, and all. He has it all in there. And he walks, and they go, and Itachi already know about their abilities because he was one of the Anbu that was with Dunzo that night. And he says, well, I know all of your abilities, I know how strong you are, so let's get going. And so they start chopping the trees, and Naruto's asking what is the mission, what is the main goal of the mission. They're like, well, we need to gather intel. The 18 Cloud has a secret weapon now, and we don't know what it is. Naruto says, fine, alright. And they get there in about like half an hour because Naruto got tired of running and he just ported them all there. He's like, stop, this is too much work, and he ported them all the way there. And Asuna smacks him back of the head and tells him he's too lazy. And Naruto says next time he'll run. Even though he's faster than light speed, he would have got there at any time, but he knew Asuna was she's close to light speed. She's only be able to break the sound barrier, so she'll probably be like a couple of minutes behind him. But Naruto would have been there way faster, and Itachi would have been the last one. It probably took him a full day or two. They'll get there, and he's looking around. He goes in with his devil mask and everything, and he's made a reputation for himself. They call him the Red and Black Demon or Devil. They call Asuna the Death Angel. The Red Death Angel. So yeah, they made a name for themselves. They are in the bingo book. Top SSS rank. Dunzo know who they are, and everyone knows they're from the Leaf Village, so they're probably the Leaf Village secret weapon. And so they infiltrate. They're walking around. They're seeing how everything's going, and they see that they know that the Hokage, well, Naruto's gathered information that the Hokage is having a meeting with his council, and so he says this is now the time, and they appear in the room, but they're invisible. Naruto makes it like that. They're standing on the walls, like Itachi's using chakra control, but Naruto them, they're just really defying the laws of physics, basically. Yeah, they're looking down, listening, or no, they're just on the floor listening, cloaked, can't sense their presence or anything. And then that's when they started talking. He says how's the secret weapon going. He says it's going great, and they're really talking about Killer Bee. They had Orochimaru come and do a few experiments, which boosts the Nine Tails. The Eight Tails chakra. Now he has the same amount of chakra, the Nine Tails, but what they don't know that the Nine Tails has evolved to the point where it has more chakra than it had before. So both parts have more chakra than the Eight Tails, the new Eight Tails combined. And the Eight Tails now has armor all around it. It still has octopus shape, but it has like armor, and it's basically now known as impenetrable. And Naruto says, so that's what their new secret weapon is. And they started talking when they were releasing the leaf. And Naruto has telepathy, so he can communicate back with Dunzo, and he's reporting this all to Dunzo and everything, and Dunzo understands, and yeah. And Naruto and them uncloak themselves right in the middle, and yeah, guys, that's where we're gonna leave it off. In part 3, I'll tell you what happened. I have something really important to do, so sorry for it's too short. Peace out.